Hey guys, Micah here with Electrek, and today I am reviewing the Super Monarch electric bike from eCells. This is an all-wheel drive fat tire bike. It's got 2 motors and 2 batteries. Let's check it out. The Super Monarch e-bike is actually available in 2 different models. There's the 1000 watt model, which has a pair of 500 watt geared motors and is the model I'm testing out here, and there's also the 700 watt model, which has a pair of 350 watt hub motors. Both models are otherwise identical, so it's simply a matter of how much power you want in your e-bike. I also want to point out that the bike I'm testing is a pre-production prototype. It's pretty close to the production version, but the team has already made a number of upgrades to the bike since this media sample bike shipped, and I'll touch on those upgrades in a moment. For now, let's check out the tech specs. As I mentioned, this bad boy is packing 2 500 watt hub motors for 1000 watts of power in all-wheel drive mode. It's also got 2 batteries. The first offers 672 watt-hours, while the second packs in 840 watt-hours. Together, that's over 1.5 kilowatt-hours of capacity. In the 1000 watt model, that's enough for around 60 miles of range and pedal assist, or in the 700 watt model, you could get up to around 80 miles of range and pedal assist. But one of my favorite features about this bike is that it also offers throttle control and the ability to choose between rear wheel or all-wheel drive, giving you the most control over your ride experience. When you're on the road, you can put it in rear-wheel drive and use the pedal assist to get even better range. When you head off-road and the trails get tricky, then you can put it in all-wheel drive mode and crank that throttle. In terms of speed, the bike is limited to 20 miles an hour or 32 kilometers per hour right out of the box, which keeps it classified as a Class 2 e-bike. But you can go into the settings and remove the speed limit if you'd like, which will get you up to around 30 miles an hour or 48 kilometers per hour. That's where the fun really sets in, though you do have to remember to be responsible about where you use that speed. This is a lot of e-bike to come flying around a corner with, and depending on your local regulations, such high speeds might not even be legal where you live. Speaking of how much bike this is, the Super Monarch weighs in at just over 90 pounds or 41 kilos. So yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said that's a lot of bike. Of course, you can pull the batteries out to shed around 20 pounds, which might help if you need to lift the bike into your car or truck, but it's a heavy bike any way you slice it. But hey, you're not going to get dual batteries, dual motors, and dual suspension on a cheap lightweight bike. If you want a ridiculous amount of excess, you're going to have to deal with the excess weight that comes along with it. When you're riding this bike though, honestly the weight difference is largely unnoticeable. The times you'll really feel the extra weight is when you try to hit jumps or other technical maneuvers, and that's something that most people just aren't going to be doing. When you're just riding around casually for recreation, it feels pretty much like any other bike, except that the dual suspension makes it a much more comfortable ride than most other street bikes. The components on the bike seem like wise choices to me. Critical components like brakes are near top end, with Tektro Auriga hydraulic disc brakes clamping down on a massive 203mm front disc and a 180mm rear disc. The shifter setup has since been upgraded to Shimano Diore shifters, which is Shimano's highest quality shifter setup. Then you get to the other parts like the tires, which I would call good quality but not top shelf. The Kenda K-Shield fat tires are quite good, even if there are better options out there. But when I said the component choice was wise, this is what I meant. Those Kenda tires will be good enough for most riders, yet don't force the Super Monarch's price higher than it needs to be. The same goes for the DNM shocks, the Pro Max adjustable stem, etc, etc, etc. Basically, this is a good collection of parts that are high enough quality to make me feel comfortable, but not competition level components that would make this thing unaffordable. And finally, we get to the price. The 700 watt model is currently on sale for just under $2,900, while the 1000 watt model is on sale for around $3,200. Both of those prices are about $500 off of the MSRP. And sure, that's definitely more expensive than a budget level rad power fat bike, but come on, you didn't think you were going to get 2 motors, 2 batteries, full suspension, 30 mile per hour speed, and high-end components for the same price as a budget bike, did you? Considering I've seen bikes of this price level come with just a fifth of this battery and a quarter of this motor power, plus 0 suspension, I'd say the Super Monarch is actually priced quite fairly. It's not a cheap ride, but with high-performance e-bikes, you always have had to pay to play, and bikes like these can take you places you'd never reach on a budget bike. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that review. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can check out all of Electrek's electric vehicle videos. See you next time, everyone.